out what kind of cook I am and what kind of food I wanted to do.
Heard.
You know.
And where did you find that?
Honestly, like a lot of traveling throughout Asia made me find my culinary voice, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt closest to home, you know, for me. The flavors that I love eating, the flavors that I love cooking, using different ingredients, things like that. That's pretty much like what I always go back to.
Yeah. Cool. So then Nightshade, right? Mm-hmm. How did that come to fruition from start to finish, I guess? Because as we were talking before, restaurant openings take forever.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, idealization to brick and mortar space.
Idealization. I always, from thinking about opening up that restaurant, I knew exactly the look that I wanted to have for it and also the food that I wanted to do for it. When it came down to finding the right space, you know, because looked everywhere, you know, is this the right neighborhood? Is this, you know, being in LA, you don't want to pay a crazy amount of rent because it can make or break you. You know what I mean? So, ended up finding a relatively turnkey space.
Yeah.
Which ended up needing a lot of work. We ended up renovating the entire space, breaking down a wall, making it an open kitchen type of thing. The previous restaurant that was in there was, it was trashed for sure.
Yeah.
So, it needed a lot of work, and so it took a lot longer than expected. But I think that also gave me the amount of time that I needed to go and do a little bit more traveling and experiencing different things. Mm-hmm.
Did you already sort of have the menu in mind?
I definitely had the menu in mind already.
Did you have any cooks or sous already that you had reached out to? Like, hey, okay. Yeah. And they were
definitely had the core team in mind. And it was just literally a month before opening, we started doing the hiring for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to poach anybody?
No.
Okay.
I don't do that. Yeah.
You're just like...
Definitely don't do that.
They just came to work for me. All right, Dave?
It's always weird because it always looks like poaching.
Yeah. It always does. Yeah.
It always looks like it, but
always.
It's not. I think, you know, more or less, like, you have to be open about it. Like, whoever, you know... Obviously, like, I know a lot of the chefs in town, and I never want it to look like I'm taking a cook from someone. You know, that's just not good karma. It's not kosher. You know, I would never want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's all about having an open conversation about, like, hey, so-and-so is coming to work for me. You know, is that cool? Like,
yeah.
You know.
For sure. You have your opening team. When do you open? What's your opening date?
We ended up opening January 2nd, 2019.
Whoa.
Yeah. And we had done Friends and Family 4 days prior. We did Friends and Family on the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th of December. So, like, right up until New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Whoa.
But we ended up closing the 30th and... I'm sorry. Yeah. We
30th, 31st?
Yeah, the 31st for New Year's.
Heard that. So you opened the 2nd. And do you have any attention at this time?
Yeah, it was one of the most anticipated restaurant openings of the year.
Okay. How much of a fucking brick were you shitting then?
I mean, opening my first restaurant is obviously very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was shitting bricks a little bit when Jordana Rothman came in on the first day of opening.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh shit. Like, do we even have our shit on point at this time? You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, oh my God. What's happening?
Yeah, come back tomorrow.
Yeah, no, come back in a month.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And how did you do for that first month, do you feel?
I think we did pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
For being very, very new. Yeah.
Did you?
I lost my voice in like that first week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of how busy it was, or because
from how busy it was, and from how
intense you were?
Just like intense, and obviously the stress and things like that. I mean, it was also winter time, so I think that also got to me. I probably got like a flu or something.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, not to mention, you opened in January 2nd. So what, you were working on the restaurant opening for 6 months to 8 months prior to that?
Yeah.
Like hard, you know what I mean?
So we started
you're like
construction on March 2018.
Yeah. And then you got to, put all the numbers together and all that. And, so that's pretty hectic times. When do you, after the opening, when do you feel like a final, like, breath of relaxation? Like, okay, like we're good.
5 months in.
5 months in, where you're like, I can leave for a day. We'll be okay.
Yeah,
got you. Were you able to take a lot of time off, like a couple days a week? Were you good with that, or did you always have that sort of paranoia, like what's going on at the restaurant?
Constant paranoia.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the first real trip I took was when we got Best New Restaurant in Food and Wine, and so we went to Aspen for like basically 4 days.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask you about this because you had told me earlier you told your parents, or your parents started being proud of you when you won Top Chef. Mm-hmm. How fucking excited are they when you just start getting sort of accolade after accolade? Now you have your own restaurant. Are they going to your restaurant?
They actually came to the restaurant in October of 2019.
Okay.
So they usually come out every October to come and visit, especially for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And so, they came out, and I think at that point, they really realized like the type of food that I made. Mm-hmm. I think they knew that I was doing something different when they watched the show. They're like, I think their mindset was, oh my God, is she making like stir-fried food? Or they're making like, is she making Chinese American food?
Yeah.
Thing. Like, I don't think they had they were fully grasped on like the type of food that I was making. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was an eye opener for them for sure.
Like tears at the table proud?
No, like that. Not like that. But like they're pretty stoic.
Yeah.
And so they're never like, they really never show their emotions like that, but they're just like, this is pretty tasty, and like this is really good. And a lot of things that I thought my mom wasn't going to like, she actually enjoyed. So it was pretty funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like, damn, that must feel really good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
When did the fried chicken spot come up?
It came up probably in August of 2019.
So you had opened a restaurant, 8 months prior, and you're already like, hey, here's the second one. Is that just your momentum? Like, we're just going, baby.
I think at a certain point, you have a bunch of different employees. And so where do they go and grow from that, right? You want to promote certain people.
Heard.
And that was kind of like always my goal, is to not necessarily open up a bunch of different restaurants, but to take care of the employees, to take care of the staff, and to promote them to run the next restaurant, and so on and so forth.
Do you have right now any like long-term cooks that you've mentored, sous chefs, things like that?
I have a few cooks for sure, and it's great because you just see their growth, and like a lot of obviously it's a new restaurant, we've had a lot of turnover. And so, not everyone is going to, I guess like the food that you're doing, or necessarily like that certain experience.
Yeah.
So we talked about that earlier, is, you go through a lot of turnover when you open up a new restaurant. And so, we kind of got our footing, and it was, I totally lost track of the question, but, you definitely you have those cooks who are pretty serious about their craft and want to constantly learn. And I still remember, this cook, Chris, he was just constantly like, hey, how do you make this? Hey, can you show me how to make this type of pasta? And, how do you know that this is the right ratio? And like, how did you learn how to do this? And, constantly asking questions. I love that. I feel like you don't get that anymore from a lot of the cooks these days. Nobody is as hungry anymore, I feel like. I don't know if that's my experience, but I feel like I was always that person who was always hungry to learn more, and always came to work on an off day, always came to work early, like way earlier than expected, because I want to learn something new before going to my shift and to do prep. But I was always like, wanted to know how to do certain things, and I always wanted to grow. Yeah.
I think that has to do with just your upbringing, when you feel like you have to work for it. Because there's been certain times in my career that you stay extra time to clean something. Nobody sees you. Nobody knows you're there. But in my mind, I convinced myself that if I did it, that it would pay off.
It does.
At some point.
It totally does.
And it definitely does. And it's like, I wonder if there's any cooks out there. I'm sure there are, but I just don't think that there's as much as there was before.
For sure.
And maybe it's because of our phones. All the answers are right there. I don't have to ask Mei how she made this, because I can just go here. Maybe that's where we're going. Computerized chefs.
We're just gonna have robots working in the restaurant.
I mean, they'll probably listen better. It'd
probably
be easier to,
things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you see yourself opening any other spots past this, or are you just kind of gonna hang out here with the fried chicken business? And
obviously have a lot of ideas, and I want to constantly grow myself as well. So not currently, but for sure sometime in the future.
Well, I see you have you have a product line, right?
Sort of. It's just like a side project.
Well, what do you got?
I make chili oil and XO. XO sauce. XO sauce is the dried seafood condiment, and I've actually been making it since 2013. It was just kind of like a side thing that I had, and I made it every holiday and shipped it to my chef friends. Yeah, and that's kind of how that started. And a few of my friends were like, "Hey, you totally need to just put this out there," and I'm like, it's a lot of work. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have time to do that. And it wasn't up until right before pandemic, I was starting to go full throttle with it. And so now it's out.
Yeah, it's blowing up. Where can we get it?
You can get it from the website.
Okay.
UMAMEIXO.com.
Okay. That's UMAMEI and then what? MEI at the end there? Okay. Got you. I like what you did there. All right. Well, you can fucking cop some of that XO sauce. I make one with sunflower seeds.
Oh, very nice. You can literally make it with anything.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
I mean, that was that was my favorite thing I think I made at Charter Oak ever, was the sunflower XO. Because I just put it in, it was a pasta salad. But I'm like, it's so good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Those simple things are just so good.
Yeah. Textures.
Yeah. Rice with XO on it. Pfft, what else do you need?
You don't need anything.
I know. Well, Chef, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this.
Of course, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Are you kidding me? Sitting in front of a legend right here. So, Sucio Talk, episode 24. Chef Mei, thank you very much. Go visit her spot, Daybird. Where's it at?